delve into that in a little bit here. Of course, the object is for our racers to find and defeat the evil Dragonlord, and they'll need to collect certain key items to trade in for the Rainbow Drop, which will allow the runners to enter Charlock Castle, the home of the Dragonlord. And they'll also be fighting enemies one at a time to gain experience and levels to get stronger, as well as gold to purchase weapons, armor, and items to help in their quest. And, well, they do have some gold, they do have a magic key, and the obligatory magic key. So if nothing else, we know that our runners will be able to purchase keys, and we'll get an early raid here. We know they don't have any spell access at the moment, so that means that they have less than 8 magic points.
Yes, not having a spell means less than 8 magic points, and it is very nice to be able to get both a gold chest and a key in the throne room. As you mentioned, it means they'll be able to just go ahead and purchase, stock all the way up on those keys. They don't have to worry about like spending their one key to either get to the basement or into the treasury. So a pretty nice start. I'm sure both of our runners are pretty happy to see that, considering they won't be able to see very much of anything else.
One thing that Cyberdark is not happy to see is that guard in the way here, and that took what little bit of a lead there was away, and now both runners are just going and purchasing the maximum 6 keys. We know that's what they're going to start. Well, okay, maybe not. It's hard to tell, though. Those will also be disabled. But I would imagine with the gold that they got, they should be able to afford that amount here. And they also agreed to permanent torch on, I see. And already we've got a bit of a route divergence here, as it is Garen's grave in the basement. And we're going to get a look at a few chests here. We've got an empty chest, so that was another key. We've got the Stones of Sunlight. And we have a mystery amount of gold.
And so like Kigalas going to go ahead and grab that while Cyberdark86 grabs a torch. This is out of the treasury here. A fairy flute. So, another fairy? No, we'll see what it is. Looks like that might have been maybe some piece of equipment. I don't know what that was.
That was a magic key, and we have gold in the bottom right.
So it looks like gold grind available both in the grave or in the treasury here. Kigalas getting that awesome harp knight there.
So there's the torch. There's going to be a series of torches here.
So it'll be interesting to see how much they do on this gold grind here. Obviously, they haven't even left the castle. They don't know if there's silver shields or magic armors about. And obviously, they don't know how much gold they have in their inventory. They do know you get between, I believe it's 500 and 750 per pickup. So they can certainly count in their head to say, okay, I should have about enough for a silver shield after this many pickups. But it'll be interesting to see how far they go with it. It looks like Cyberdark's going quite far with it, whereas Kigalas maybe picked up enough for like a full plate, large shield broadsword combo.
Well, that's part of the gamble, as we know both of our runners are at level 1. For all we know, there may not be a town anywhere nearby.
Yeah, and seeing that it's swamp outside, it is kind of scary to go running around with all that gold.
But there is a town, and Kigalas able to head over, and it's Cantlin, the shopping mall.
So most likely they're going to be able to find something to spend that gold on. Now, I suppose it's not that hard to set up a gold grind if they didn't get enough for what they wanted in the beginning, right? Because the grave is in the basement of Tantagel. But I see a magic armor and broadsword. Looks like Kigalas picked up that broadsword there.
So that'll add 20 attack power to whatever the total is. We do see a full plate, and there is a flame sword down there in the basement. Or
yeah,
not
the bottom
basement,
shop.
The lower shop.
Yeah, that lower shop had flame sword and a silver shield, and I think the Keylock shop had a silver shield in it as well.
Yep, so Cyberdark definitely has enough for the silver shield. Is going to pick that up right off the bat.
It's a pretty good get to have the best shield in the game. Looks like he's going to try the full plate. He was able to purchase that one as well.
And goes for the hand axe to start.
Very interesting. And it looks like he's going to check something at this top shop as well. try to grab that magic armor, but doesn't have enough money. Perhaps because he spent on the full plate. Perhaps he just didn't quite grind up enough. But we might see a secondary gold grind there just to get the top equipment as Cyberdark goes ahead and takes the death in the swamp. And that could actually give him an idea of how many hit points he has. Each swamp tile takes away 2 hit points. So if we can count up from where he died to the number of steps he took on there, that gives us a pretty good idea, give or take 1 hit point, how many he's got.
Well, first there's going to be a replenishment of keys, and then it looks like probably a setting up of the gold grind here. But meanwhile, we've got a level, maybe a couple here. Is that Metal Scorpion helping get things? And we've got the spell of heal. So at least level 3. Okay, it looks like Kigalas did go to level 3 with that heal spell gained.
Yeah, that Metal Scorpion should give enough at 31 experience to shoot straight from level 1 to level 3. And it shouldn't take much more to bring him up to level 4. And now we've got Cyberdark fighting a Metal Scorpion. I think this is in the grave. So both runners just hitting the ground running here, getting all that gold, picking up some very good equipment, and fighting some decent monsters for their level. Ooh, Kigalas gets away from an Armored Knight there, as Cyberdark does finish off his Metal Slime, or Metal Scorpion to pick up his level 3.
So there is the heal spell, and now we'll get to see a couple of chests here. That's the magic key chest. There's the Stones of Sunlight. And there's the gold, and here comes another level for Kigalas. Single-digit power. Looks like double-digit speed there, possibly. And we get the spell of sleep here at presumably level 4. Yes.
Yeah, sleep's not a bad pickup there. With that broadsword, you can certainly put to sleep some of those higher middle-range monsters and chop away at them. Of course, it's always risky not knowing how many hit points you have. But the sleep ball was also good to knock him out, get a runaway as well. Like we might see him sleep and try to fight this Droll Magi. Yeah, there he goes. It looks like he's hitting it for double digits. Meanwhile, Cyberdark back to the gold grind. I think he just wants to top off and get all of that best equipment right away and just not have to worry about it.
I mean, it certainly makes sense as Kigalas gets another level here. We've got power. Looks like there was a decent hit point gain, but no additional spells for level 5. So at least 82 experience Kigalas has.
And he meets a Magiwyvern, another good target for that sleep spell. Oh, MP is too low. So I think we've seen him pop a couple of heals into sleep. Obviously, not able to factor in what he's gotten from the level. So that Death Warp will take him home, give him a refill.
So yes, for those who are just joining us, both of our runners, they spoke ahead of time and agreed to a flag set including no numbers. Which means all the numbers that are on display are obscured. Now, the one number that is being allotted to us here for commentary purposes is what level both of our runners are at, but all of their statistics are being hidden from us here. So the only way we have any idea is kind of based on the spell count, and they're going to have to figure everything out, how much gold they have, roughly how much experience they have. Well, we can tell there's fire there, and it looks like it was the baby breath.
Yep, and then that second attack went ahead and took him down. But yeah, most likely a baby breath. Very unlikely at level 5 that they have enough hit points to tank a big Dragonlord breath. And Cyberdark, done with the gold grind, goes ahead and picks up that flame sword. And we'll probably see him grab a magic armor as well. Oh, he already did pick up the magic armor, so he's got that. And Kigalas going back into the grave. Neither of them opted to dive the deep grave, probably waiting for some stats first. But it looks like that's where Kigalas is going right now. Cyberdark picks up a level. His stats increased by blank.
Yeah, more blanks than a match game marathon here.
Exactly. So Kigalas trying again to take out the Magiwyvern that sent him home earlier. This time he does have enough MP to put it to sleep. It's punched him into the red. It looks like it punched him a little bit too hard and sends him back to the throne room. And Cyberdark, just from when it took him to the red, he's been able to walk through this swamp kind of up and down it twice. If that gives us an idea of about how many tiles, I would say that puts him maybe in the 40-ish range, maybe a little more of hit points. Like it feels like they're pretty good for level 4.
Yeah, it looks like there's a double-digit gain there for level 5 of hit points. And yes, for those who know me, I'm a big game show aficionado, so the match game reference is pretty well expected for something along these lines.
Kigalas decided to take on another one of those metal scorpions. Cyberdark venturing in a different direction this time. So different direction than Kigalas went. So we're starting to see some divergence in their exploration patterns, which can often make the difference between finding some key item sooner than the other. And he's able to take down that, I think that was a Wraith Knight for his next level there. So that magic armor, flame sword, silver shield really paying off at this point.
Yep, and already up to level 6 is Cyberdark, which is where Kigalas is. Both of them have the spell of Repel. And one thing I could tell from level 6, it said thy hit point increased by blank as opposed to hit points. So we know that it is a single-digit gain.
Absolutely. And Cyberdark checking that spark over bridge, validating the seed. Unfortunately, nothing there. Not today.
Yeah, there's guaranteed in no numbers to be no overworld search, because could you imagine the old man giving you coordinates with mystery numbers? Then you're basically scouring the entire land, searching every tile, and we'd be here until probably Canadian Thanksgiving, maybe even American Thanksgiving, to get that to get that complete search in.
Yeah, I feel like that would be the true challenge seed, right? Like, who's got the perseverance to do this? We're not really testing your ability at the game. Just how persistent are you?
High spirits don't get any ideas.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I know a few of our runners out here that might be willing to take on such a challenge. Cyberdark did find, I believe that was Swamp North, but met his untimely demise to a Star Wyvern instead of there. So he's going back home. It looks like he's going to set back out on the exploration path. Kigalas is on his way to chest 4 of the grave.
Yeah, Mr. Holmes is another one. That's true.
Holmes would do it for sure.
Herb.
A little bit of herb never hurt. It's a little bit more potent of a heal than your heal spell, so it's pretty good in a pinch, or just to start collecting them. You eventually want to get all 6 for your dive to Charlock.
So the question in chat, what's with the missing stats? So both Cyberdark and Kigalas agreed to use the no numbers flag, which means, well, as you can see, all of their numbers are obscured. They also requested that the numbers be obscured to us as well. So we have the same lack of information that our runners do. Actually, with one exception, we can tell what level they are on based on the spells, and that's for commentary purposes.
It looks like Cyberdark takes down another Wraith Knight as Kigalas picks up the Death Necklace from the bottom of the grave. And that Wraith Knight does give Kigalas up to level 7. So he is making very good use of that equipment that he's picked up. And so just kind of keeping up with that what's the word I'm looking for, experience fighting these stronger monsters in the overworld. Yeah,
in the early outset, Cyberdark did not 1 but 2 gold grinds to get all of the best equipment that money can buy. So that has allowed Cyberdark to catch up on the experience front.
Yeah, exactly. While Cyberdark was grinding and shopping, Kigalas went out and did a much smaller gold grind, got himself just a broadsword, full plate, and a small shield, and gained some experience with that. But as we can see, Kigalas able to just consistently take on these harder, higher tier monsters, and is making short work of that experience.
And there was a question also in chat of how can you tell when stat gain is double digit? There is an extra space in before the period, so you can tell whether you need at least 100 experience to get to the next level, just 10, or somewhere in double digits, single digits. Basically, the number of digits will expand in that particular case.
Still waiting for that triple digit HP gain, but it's never happened.
That would be something. And yes, one number that is not obscured is the number of deaths. We want to give that as a little tease to you. So that you can get. And yes, the seed is curated so that there are no coordinates. So even though both of our runners have the magic key, neither of them are going to bother talking to the man because they know that there are no coordinates in this particular flag set.
Yes, and as Kigalas settles into a gold grind, presumably for his silver shield, flame sword, and magic armor, Cyberdark has found the town of Garenham, immediately goes to the back to see what's in the 3 chests there. We've got ourselves a cursed belt, an herb, and some fairy water. And you'll probably make a check to see what's in the basement as soon as this old man gets out of his way. And Garenham basement is the Tablet Cave. Awesome. So Tablet's going to have 1 chest in it and no monsters. Fortunately, with the permanent torch, they'll be able to navigate through it no problem.
Yeah, that is another change from the norm. Both runners opted to shed a little light on things in exchange for the numbers, so they had permanent torch on in the caves. And we've got the silver harp in the back of Garenham, but in the Tablet Cave.
Yeah, and that's an excellent get there. The silver harp, of course, is the one key item that you have to then turn into another old man in order to get the Staff of Rain. So it's always really nice, for routing purposes, to find that silver harp before you find the Staff of Rain. Prevents a little bit of backtracking later on. So Cyberdark's sure to be happy about finding that. Kigalas probably rounding up to the end of his gold grind there. And Cyberdark's going to continue exploring.
Yeah, always good to find the harp first before finding that old man, as you don't want to go in reverse, finding it the other way, and then have to snap back to that old man later.
All the old men in this game, they've got all the treasures. One of them's hiding the stones of sunlight, at least in vanilla. Another one's got hiding that Staff of Rain, and the other one, he's mean, but he gives you your rainbow drop. In fact, what our runners will do is they'll take the Staff of Rain, the Stones of Sunlight, and Erdrick's token once they find it. And they'll take it to the guy that we call the Jerk. We call him that because he is not very nice to our players if they don't have Erdrick's token. And he will take all of those items in exchange for a rainbow drop. That rainbow drop is used to summon the Rainbow Bridge to get into Charlock Castle, which is the home of the Dragonlord, who is kind of our BBEG that we're trying to take out at the end of the game.
Well, Kigalas went and picked up the flame sword and the silver shield, and it looks like is now going to try to get the magic armor and does have enough for that.
Yep, so now both of our runners have the best equipment that money can buy. Only difference really, Kigalas doesn't have a dragon scale, but he might be on his way to purchase one now. Maybe not, maybe just topping off on herbs. And Cyberdark back to where he was at Garanham and just starting to check off some other directions here. At this point, Cyberdark has seen a little bit more of the map than Kigalas has, whereas Kigalas has seen the bottom of the grave, which held the death necklace. I feel that in a no-number seed, putting on the death necklace might be very, very, very risky. So we probably won't see it come into play.
One advantage that we have that our runners do not, we at least can see what level they are.
Yeah, they would have to. I mean, they should know by their levels up. They, maybe counting it on the, or maybe making a tally mark on a note. But if they're not keeping notes, it's just one more thing you have to keep in your head.
Or they may just say, you know what? Once I get all my spells, I know I'm somewhere in level something teen, as they're guaranteed to get all 10 spells by level 16, and just kind of go from there.
Yeah, kind of test it out on some of the stronger monsters. If you're hitting a red dragon for 40, you're probably doing pretty good in the strength department. Of course, they could try walking on those barrier tiles in Cantlin, which is nearby, to get an idea of how many hit points they have, or even a more finer idea by walking on those swamp tiles and just counting how many steps it takes to die. So there's a few ways to do it. Maybe cast the heal more spell until you run out of magic. So there's a few ways to figure out where you're at with stats, but all of that does take time. So not sure if we'll see any of our runners try to do any of those things. But definitely a few workarounds, to get an idea for where you're at. Meanwhile, that blue dragon sent Cyberdark home, so he'll have to go back to his exploration.
Oh, and red dragons have hurt more. Loverly.
That is not a spell you want to see on a red dragon. It's still better than them having Dragonlord 2 Breath or Sleep, but hurt more, certainly not something you want to see on a monster that's very difficult to run from and could potentially be all over Charlock Castle. I see chat talking about gaining like 7 levels inside the Silver Harp. I did do that earlier this week, so I definitely agree. This seed could definitely use more harp strats.
Only Cyberdark has found the Silver Harp, but as I say that, Kigalas is in Garanham, and once he goes to the back of it, he will find the harp as well.
And another red dragon on Cyberdark86 screen. It just back attacks, opens with a hurt more, and says, "Get out of here."
None shall pass.
It's very nice of King Lorik to be providing all of these dragon snacks for the Dragonlord's minions. It looks like Kigalas did pick up that harp. Meanwhile, Cyberdark going to top off on keys here, and we might see him dive bottom of the grave. Yeah, it looks like that's where he's going.
Makes sense, just to get it out of the way in case there is an essential item that is needed. We know that it's just an herb and a death necklace down there.
Yeah, and seeing as he ran into several kind of roadblocks in the exploration, this might feel like kind of the best way to go to make some progress, maybe fight some monsters down on the way to level up. But he is opting to run away from these Magiwyverns and things, which were doable, but I guess without knowing MP, if you want to make sure you get to the bottom, you want to be a little bit more conservation, though he does accidentally cast the sleep spell in there, casting sleep on the darkness.
Oh, it almost worked.
Cast sleep on the commentator.
All right, that empty chest is an herb, which Cyberdark knows that. Well, Cyberdark should know it has to be an herb because he used one of his magic keys, so that he had topped off. So he should have 5 keys, and with the 6 herbs, that means he knows that it's an herb.
Yeah, in the randomizer, if there's no room in your inventory for a herb or a key, the things that you can hold more than one of in a single slot, it just makes that chest empty. And he meets a warlock on top of the death necklace chest, gets his death necklace, and will probably make his way outside.
And to answer the question, no, they cannot see their item counts, but if they're keeping track, they would know that in Cyberdark's case, he would know that he just topped off keys and used a key to get to this lower part of Garanham, so he knows that there's 5. So if it's an empty chest otherwise, then it must be an herb.
Yeah, and meanwhile, we've got Kigalas fighting a fairly benevolent blue dragon. It appears to be a 75% hurt blue dragon, so that's something that they actually are going to want to see. And that could make for some tasty, tasty dragon steaks as they get a little bit more attack power and able to take it down faster.
Here comes level 9, as we've got power, speed, hit points. Looks to be double-digit magic points and a spell. And it's the spell of Hurt More, and the spell of Radiant, and the spell of Outside.
So that was kind of the spell level, but the big headline of that story is Hurt More. Those blue dragons we were just talking about right there, they are somewhat susceptible to the Hurt More spell. Couple casts of that nets you a big old 180 experience points per kill. So very happy to see that one there. Also, most Charlock monsters can be taken out with 1 Hurt More in a swing, maybe 2 Hurt Mores. So a really good get there. And right behind him, Cyberdark picks up his level 9 and is going to see that Hurt More spell as well.
And Kigalas, meanwhile, has found the Staff of Rain Cave and took care of that trade in a snap, and has picked up the Staff of Rain in exchange for the Silver Harp.
Yep, he tried to run from that Armor Knight first time, didn't get away, so has opted to blast it with a couple of Hurt Mores. He's actually healing himself first. We'll see if he's got enough MP to get another Hurt More off. He does, and so down goes Armored Knight. Those are worth a tasty amount of experience as well. 172, I think.
Yep, 172 and 152 gold. Thankfully, the experience in gold to which the enemies provide upon their defeat, that is not randomized. So if you've got a pretty good knowledge of it, you can go, okay, I'm getting this amount of gold here, or this amount of... Oh, and here we go. So Cyberdark utilizing the number of heal mores to get kind of an idea of how much MP there is, as we've got a gold chest in the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave over on Kigalas' side.
I think he's on his 5th heal more now. Looks like 5 heal mores. That's like maybe 40 MP. He doesn't continue to get more granular by casting some heals, but I'm pretty sure I counted 10. Okay, so I didn't see the start of it. So that's a lot of MP.
And over on Kigalas' side, oh look, it's Breckenary. And there was much rejoicing. Yay.
Everybody's favorite 6 gold in. It's nice for some cheap digs, a quick refill. And hey, they sell fairy water here. Not that there's an infinitely better fairy water shop in Cantlin by home, but, it does have that going for it. Cyberdark working on this red dragon here. He doesn't know stop spell, so he can't prevent it from casting Hurt More. It's kind of a damage race.
Oh no, and there's Healmore as well from the Red Dragon.
That's horrible. So both the Red Dragon, we also saw earlier Star Wyverns have Healmore, so that's 2 Healmore Charlock monsters.
Here comes level 10, looks pretty pedestrian. I think everything was single-digit gains at level 10 over on Kigalas' side.
Well, Cyberdark trying to pop a Hurtmore on Star Wyvern is able to get it down. I think it Healmored once on him, so he had to do a swing and then that. And he's checking the spike tile. It's a Red Dragon, of course. Get out of there. Leave. Go. Find another spike.
Well, that is why they are known in the community as the Fun Police, because whenever they show up, the fun tends to stop. And in this case, so does the direction of the journey. And Cyberdark going to start back at the castle, losing half of the gold, so half of question mark is question mark, and off he goes. And Kigalas suffering the same fate.
Yes. Fortunately, they've already purchased everything they would ever really want to get, so the gold hit is not as detrimental as it might be in other situations. But that Red Dragon might pose a problem. If their agility stat is low and they're having a hard time running away from them and have to like fight their way through, with it knowing heal more and hurt more, that's just a lot of damage they'll be taking, as well as, potentially they'll have to be popping stop spells in order to get through it. So we're probably crossing their fingers right now, hoping that there's not too many of them swarming around in Charlock Castle.
So to answer the question in chat, what's happening here? Yes, this is still a tournament match. Both racers decided to have a little fun tweaking around with the flag sets. So permanent torch is on there, which is why as soon as Kigalas walked in, a little bit of light was shed on the situation. But more importantly, they both agreed to no numbers. And yes, I use fun in inverted commas.
Yeah, so no numbers means they don't get to see what their stats are, and they opted to make it so that we don't get to know what their stats are either. So it should be fun for all of us to try to figure it out based off of, how many swings it takes to kill a thing, or how many steps on a barrier tile it takes me to die. But a very interesting flag set that they've got going on here. Provide a little bit of a challenge. Our runner's 2-1, so whoever wins this will be guaranteed a berth, but the other one will have the play-in race at least as a fallback. And of course, there's always week 5 to see what's going on. But yeah, they decided to have a little bit fun with it. And Ferran, I think you're gonna have that little speech memorized by the end of the day, as we're probably gonna have to remind folks every 10 or 15 minutes as new folks come in.
No, most certainly. So to answer the question regarding coordinates, if the no numbers flag is checked, the randomizer is already programmed to not add coordinates into the mix.
Yeah, so it knows how virtually impossible that would be, and just says, you know what, we'll give you this one break here. There will only be a maximum of 2 search areas, that being the one in Cole and the one in Hawksness. Neither of which our runners have found, except for Kigalas did see a sighting of Charlock, though. And a desert town.
The desert town is Rimuldar, or Rimuldar.
And with that key start, Rimuldar loses a little bit of its luster, but it does have the 2-for-1 special here, so let's see what's inside this chest.
Torch.
The most expensive torch you'll ever see.
Oh, and there is on Cyberdark's side the Rainbow Drop Cave, also known as Jerk Cave.
Yeah, so as soon as he finds that token, he should be able to visit the Jerk. Actually, it looks like Cyberdark has not visited the Staff of Rain Cave yet. I thought he had seen that, but maybe that was just Kigalas. Or no, I think he saw it before he found the harp. I'm not sure. Maybe he didn't see it yet. Kigalas and Cyberdark both meeting those tasty blue dragons. Cyberdark opting to run away from it. Kigalas, I think, has already fought one and kind of knows that they're only casting hurt. So gets his quick 180 experience points and carries on. And it looks like they're both in generally the same area of the map. Cyberdark may be a screen or two ahead. Armored Knights also no heal more.
Well, everything seems to be clerical in Charlock these days.
Yes, they definitely got those holy spells are down pat.
Say they're both kind of in the same area. Yeah, they're both in the same swamp here. A little virtual high five at the moment.
A virtual high five, much better than virtual highlight. So I'm glad we've got that going on.
Well played. And yeah, there is a lot being repelled. You figure with the high defense from the magic armor, the silver shield. I mean, they're obviously not repelling armored knights here, as we get another level on Kigalas' side. Power by single digit, response speed by... that might have been double digit.
I think the last stat, I always forget what's the last one. That one.
The last one's MP.
So it looks like it got a bunch of MP off of that one, which we saw earlier. MP was already quite high. Looks like we've got some gym fans in chat here. Now, what is this sprite that Cyberdark is using? Is that Bomberman? Who is that?
I'm not sure, but I was totally thrown off as I thought... I thought you had meant virtual Hyali, like the game with the bouncing the ball off the walled space and the handheld Whisker Cesta. You know, the game in the Philippines.
Gotcha. No, I was bringing up Virtual Highlight, which is a notoriously bad game from, I forget what system is on. Maybe the Sega Master System or something slightly later than that. I think it was a CD game. Yeah, it's known for being notoriously bad. But interestingly, much like Dragon Warrior, it's a randomized game. Like every seat of it is randomized. So, but yeah, it's one of those games that were so bad that they kind of have a bit of a cult following.
Well, there we go. We've learned some things today here. And Kigalas has learned not to mess with the red dragon, at least just yet. And, an armored knight hurt more on Cyberdark sends him back as well.
Yep, so red monsters not being friendly to our heroes here, especially with those heal mores, like being able to get them and then take them out. The armored knight, you would have to definitely do a swing and then hurt more strat, because if you hurt more first, you're probably going to heal himself. And the red dragon, boy, you hate to try to run from him because it's so hard to do it. But that's going to be a very difficult fight until they can get that stop spell. Stop spell? Yeah, stop spell.
Until they get the spell of stop spell.
Yes, that's it. He's much better with words than I.
I have my moments.
And Cyberdark just keeps running into this red dragon. He's able to get away from that one. Like, he's seen one in that spot or that general area several times already. And now we've got double stone men.
Yeah, trying to utilize the sleep spell, as the stone man is rather susceptible to the sleep spell. They've only got a roughly blank out of blank chance. Oh, no, it's contagious. A roughly 2 out of 16 chance to resist the sleep spell.
I wonder, and Tracker, don't do this, but I'm just wondering if like the Tracker would bring up no numbers on those stats as well. It probably wouldn't. Oh, we've got a town on Cyberdark's side. I don't know if he sees it. Oh, he's checking the Sparko spot first.
2 towns, and we've got Hawksness.
He's going to immediately go do it. I think he's got hit points. I think he's got magic. Might as well see what it is and see if we can't take it out. If it's a red dragon...
Well, they have the fairy flute.
Yeah, so with Fairy Flute, Golem's not too bad. Again, their strength is probably pretty good.
Oh, and of course Golems have hurt more.
Charlock is not looking like a very nice place at this moment here. I don't think I've seen anything Charlock monster yet that I would want to run into. Maybe those stone men.
So Art of the Troll just joining us here. So both of our runners agreed to some different flags along with the standard tournament flags. It's a special flag set. They have Permanent Torch, which you can see on Kigalas' side, able to just walk into a cave and immediately be able to see. But more pressingly, they have agreed to no numbers. So no numbers are on display. And that's for all of your statistics, inventory, experience, gold, the whole lot.
And speaking of numbers, Cyberdark86's level number just increased by 1. Should bring him up to level 10. As he does take out that golem. And chat pointing out that, yeah, hurt more on a golem is actually probably a good thing. As with the armor, it should do less damage than what their punches would. And we've got Cole.
So we're going to take a look 4 steps south of the bath, and there's the big stick, Erdrick's sword, the best weapon in the game.
Yeah, that's going to provide him a 12 attack power bonus over the flame sword that he already had. So slowly but surely picking up all those items that's needed. Cyberdark still needs to find the token and the armor, and I'm trying to think what's left. The mountain cave and Charlock?
Yep, that's it.
I do believe Cyberdark did he definitely full cleared the grave, so he has all of that knowledge as well. He does still need to find the trade-in caves as well. I think he's seen the jerk, but not the staff cave, as well as Charlock itself. Real Bong asking what numbers get shown at DL2. I believe at DL2, all of your numbers that you can see, in your little regular pop-up status screen, then become viewable. So like hit points, magic points, level, gold, experience, etc. But not your actual like big status screen, because you can't open that in the fight.
So Erdrick's token has to be in the mountain cave, but there's also a slightly better than 50% chance that Erdrick's armor might be in Charlock Castle.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Definitely there's that possibility, and that is always the worst when you have to dive to Charlock Castle with Erdrick's armor. Mainly because the first floor, but going down, there is, I want to say, around 120 hit points worth of barrier tiles that you have to walk through. So it immediately burns a heal more or two.
All right, there's Kigalas finding the Rainbow Drop Cave, but still one more item to utilize, as we see our restreamer Math Girl providing a very evil laugh in text form from having rolled this particular challenging conundrum-like monstrosity that we have before us here.
Yes, Math Girl, of course, notorious for creating just horrible Charlocks. And it seems that her favorite monster of choice is the Armored Knight, and she's not disappointing today. Looks like Kigalas has found Hawksness and is going to meet the Golem. Making use of that fairy's flute. Oh, I didn't even notice that those Armor Knights also know Hurt More. So they're Hurt More, Heal More Armor Knights.
And Hurt More, Heal More Red Dragons.
You get a Hurt More. It's just all the Moors. Everybody's got the Moors. If you're red, you get the Moors.
So does that mean Red Slimes had them too?
I think they started. They were repelling them. I don't think we're ever going to see a red slime in this seed. But yeah, I wouldn't put it past him.
So Kigalas moments away from getting his Erdrick sword.
It'll be a pleasant surprise, I'm sure. And now I'm interested in where is that mountain cave hiding? Like, it's got to be tucked away in some corner of the map. I don't think our runners have gone all the way through the swamp cave, or have they? I know they've checked the spike there.
That's a good question.
Because I feel like Cyberdark is kind of covering ground that he's seen before. But maybe there's a few odds and ends he hasn't ticked off. Oh, here's a new town. Maybe not. Oh, he's been to Breckenary. I think.
I know one of them was at Breckenary.
Well, regardless, Cyberdark does take advantage of that cheap inn and is going to continue walking around here. Actually, this might be the general direction of where the Staff of Rain cave was, he said questioningly. I've kind of given up on trying to remember where things are on the map. I've seen so many, they all just kind of bleed together. Like, maybe that was in the practice.
I know that feeling.
We do find the bonus cave. Get a little bit of bonus gold. Bonus cave, of course, the vanilla Stones of Sunlight cave.
Oh, and here is the mountain cave over on Cyberdark's side.
Yeah, this is very big for Cyberdark. He's definitely going to pick up his Erdrick token in here, barring, getting killed by some nasty monster. And potentially the armor as well. We'll find out shortly. It's not that deep of a dive. Gets away from that golem. And our first chest is...
It's the armor.
There we go. So Cyberdark, once he clears this out, he's going to be grind and go. Well, I mean, it's still got a couple of turn-ins to do. But he will have everything he needs. Meanwhile, Kigalas picking up another level.
And there's the token.
And so now I think one big question we've got to ask ourselves is where to go to grind. Red Dragons in the swamp, I think, is a non-starter. And the golem, it's doable, but that's a super long fight. But maybe that golem, it does give a lot of experience. I'm not sure if it was close to... And it is close to a town as well, so... I'm thinking probably golem. I don't think we've seen any really juicy zones so far. Or perhaps Charlock itself, but that's probably going to be full of red dragons and armored knights too.
So Stags28 in chat, reading my mind, Cyberdark getting the token and immediately casting outside. It wouldn't have hurt to check that last chest just in case there was, say, the fighter's ring to give an additional 2 attack power.
Yeah, and that you're absolutely right. That fighter's ring can oftentimes make the difference. I'm wondering if Cyberdark is thinking, I'm hitting things pretty hard now, maybe I don't need it. Like, you can kind of gauge how many swings it takes to kill, blah blah monster. But yeah, that's definitely a good question there.
So, an excellent question, chat. How do they know if they're ready for the Dragonlord if they can't see the statistics? They can have a general idea based on how much damage they're taking from a certain enemy. They can know, all right, this is about what my defense is. Or actually, they can't even see how much damage they're taking necessarily, so that kind of defeats the purpose. They know they can get an idea of their defense based on what enemies they're repelling, and based, as Valevi said, on how many swings it takes to take out a particular enemy, they can get kind of a ballpark figure of, all right, here's roughly how much attack I have. But that's about it.
Yeah, in fact, now that Cyberdark has the armor, he can't do the whole walk in a swamp until I die thing to get an idea of hit points. But magic points, you can cast heal more. In fact, we saw Cyberdark do this once already. Go to the inn, top off your magic, then cast heal more until you run out and count how many you did. That gives you a good idea of your magic points. Cyberdark did that a couple of levels ago and was able to calculate that he has at least 80 MP because he was able to get 10 casts off. So I think MP is not going to really be a limiting factor here. I think the hit points will be the hardest to figure out. That golem grind, since golems aren't susceptible to hurt more, that golem grind would probably be a good way to gauge your strength. The number of swings to take down a golem gets you an idea of what your average strength is, and then just use the math on their stats to figure out what your attack power would be. So it looks like Cyberdark was grinding in that little desert with the Armor Knights for a bit. But I think he still needs to find... No, he's found it, but I think he's off to go take care of the rest of his homework, and then we'll see what's up with that. Or rather, what he decides to do next. Kigalas still needs to find the mountain cave. That's pretty much the missing thing on Kigalas' side. But Kigalas does have the experience advantage, holding a 2-level lead over Cyberdark right now. And it looks like Kigalas is in the right general area. I know we saw Cyberdark stop off at Breckenary just before he found the mountain.
Yeah, the mountain cave was just west of the staff trading cave. Or was that the Rainbow Drop cave? No, it was one of the two trade-ins.
I think it was the mountain was next to the staff. Rainbow Drop was all the way on the other side of the map. I think
that's right. Okay,
near Hawksness and that.
My initial instincts were correct, and why would I trust my initial instincts? Oh, well, here we go. Kigalas is right at that point.
Yep, so there's Kigalas in the mountain, so he's about to pick up his armor and token as well. And then both of our grunners will essentially be in a de facto grind and go with just, the little final bit of dropping off the drop. Cyberdark finding Charlock, which I think he had seen before. And yep, going straight to that jerk. He's going to get his rainbow drop. So Cyberdark, now officially grind and go, has everything he needs to enter Charlock Castle. He's right next to it. We might even see him go inside to take a peek at what's on floor 1. And Cyberdark, the first to summon that rainbow bridge, and is going into Charlock Castle. It almost looks like he's making a dive, because he's just going straight on down to it. He's probably just going to grind and death warp out, I imagine. Usually if you're just grinding inside, you walk on the front area. Does the big hero walk? Makes me wonder if he's repelling some of the monsters in here. And that blue dragon, definitely a welcome sight. Again, they know hurt, so they're not doing barely any damage to the hero. It's pretty much a free fight. 3 swings and it goes down. You know, if Cyberdark can get all the way to the Dragonlord, this is also a free check of his hit points and magic points. Or at least the hit points that he has. Because MP he will probably have spent a little bit on the way down. But so far, all we've seen is blue dragons in Zone 1. We might see a few other monsters. Meanwhile, Kigalas picks up that token and has his armor.
So that leads me to wonder if the repel spell is still on here. Cyberdark gets another level here with some mystery stats. 1 hit point, it looks like, and... or maybe 0, that's possible. Oh no, I think it says thy hit points by 0. So if it's thy hit point, you know that you gained 1 HP.
Yeah, that's not nice to see. It looked like the strength was also in single digit. I didn't quite catch the gaps in the rest, but there's a red dragon. So we do officially have red dragons in Zone 1 of Charlock. And that's not what Cyberdark wants to see here. Kigalas meeting a blue dragon. Cyberdark desperately trying to run away. He knows that it knows heal more, and he still doesn't have the stop spell.
And that's right, that is omitted here as we are in the low teens of levels.
Yeah, even Kigalas, who has a level on him at 13, doesn't know stop spell. So it'll come along somewhere in 14, 15, or 16 if our runners even go that far, which I feel that if there is red dragons in Charlock, that stop spell might be kind of another one of those de facto required spells, unless they're just lucky enough to get away from them and not meet them. Finally gets away. And there's a wizard. So if repel was on, it's off now, but yeah. And we've got another red dragon. And golems as well. So far we got blue dragons, red dragons, golems, and wizards in Zone 1. Cyberdark making pretty short work of that golem there. And he's now made it to Zone 2, so let's see what kind of monsters we see here in the Diamond Room. How about no monsters? Quite the hero walk.
And Cyberdark, I guess, thinking that the step was just a little ways away, and now, well, we have a green dragon here.
I don't think we've seen much of the green dragon so far.
Oh, they have hurt more, of course.
Of course they do. That's right. Looks like it was 4 swings on that green dragon. That doesn't bode well for his potential strength. But then the Axe Knight going down in 2. Made it to the U room. So Zone 2, so far we've seen green dragons and Axe Knights. And red dragons. There you go. He gets away from that one, though. Wait, maybe
here we go. Final floor. Not going to check for the fighter's ring at this point here.
Yeah, I think this is more or less a recon mission. See what's on the spike. Fight a Dragonlord to find out how much HP I have, and take it from there. And that blue dragon tasting. It looks like Kigalas has the same idea, meeting an armored knight on the top floor. Kigalas, of course, has level 14 versus Cyberdark's level 12. Nice Kaishin no Ichigeki. We got an excellent move against the Blue Dragon for Cyberdark as he rounds the final corner before the spike. And we meet a werewolf, and that gives Cyberdark level 13. Looks like we had a double-digit hit point there.
So just taking care. Okay, using heal mores here. So I think this is just an exploration dive.
Yeah, and I think it makes a lot of sense because that's that Dragonlord fight is like the only place where you get to see your hit points. So I would not be surprised if this is just to see how many hit points I have and see what's inside of this Charlock. And we know that there are red dragons in Zone 1, and it looked like Zone 3 as well. Zone 2 looks pretty safe. But Zone 1 is looking not great. And chat mentioning, yeah, level 14, which Kigalas did pick up. He did get that stop spell. So that will help a lot with those red dragons. Once you have that stop spell, you can fight them and it becomes a free fight. It just costs you 2 MP. Or more if it takes more casts of stop spell to get it to land.
So even though we aren't able to see the numbers, the experience and gold the enemies give are the same. So Cyberdark taking out that blue dragon for 180 experience.
Yes, absolutely. And he's going to do it again and again. In fact, his blue dragon spike tile is probably the best spike tile to grind on, except for the fact that it's at the bottom of Charlock Castle. So he's probably going to get as much as he can right here before meeting that Dragonlord.
Yeah, this makes sense. I don't know if you want to completely deplete your resources, or if this is just, all right, this is my best grind, I'm just going to utilize it all out and then go back in. You can see your stats in the DL2 fight, but that's it. Once you get to that second form, you'll see how much MP you have left. Once you throw a heal more, you can get kind of an idea of how much your max is. But that's the only point in the game where you'll be able to see your numbers. And you can't even get to see your statistics as far as attack, defense, things of that nature.
Yeah, so I think we're probably just going to see Cyberdark. Unfortunately, we're pretty sure they have tons of MP, and I don't think he used a whole lot going down. I mean, there was that one red dragon where he had to heal a bunch of times. But he'll probably just do this until he's pretty confident or comfortable with his swings on that. Like I said, this looks like probably the best grind, and getting back to it might be, challenging. So get it while it's here. He's only having to cast the heal spell in between fights because this blue dragon is pretty much only casting hurt, which is very negligible with Air Dracula armor. So it's in terms of resources, it's an excellent grind. And also because it's casting hurt, you can just swing at it. He doesn't need to bother using hurt mores or anything like that. It looks like it's going down pretty consistently in 3 swings.
Oh, here comes another level for Cyberdark. Low power, lowish speed. It looks like some more magic points. And there is stop spell. So the only spell omitted here by level 14 is hurt, which is kind of anticlimactic at this point. And it looks like Cyberdark's going to at least get a little bit of intel here. Going to decline the offer for half the world.
Yep, so he is a fool. And I would not be surprised if stop spell was the goal there. He knows that there's red dragons here, and that's what you need to deal with them. So he takes down that Dragonlord in 2 swings. A couple swings on Dragonlord 2 also tells him a good idea of what his strength's going to be.
So that was either a low heal or 96 is where they're capped at level 14. And I think that's the case. So 14's definitely not going to be the level, but we see decent strength.
Yeah, he's hitting it for 14. There's a 9. There's another 14. So, like, if 9 is the minimum, his max would be 18. 14 is his max, then
It's 7 to 14.
7 to 14. So it gives a decent idea, kind of what the range is. Unfortunately, not a huge sample to work with. But hit points definitely still not there yet, so probably going to try to take another level somewhere, and we'll see where he decides to do it. Meanwhile, Kigalas rounding the corner and about to meet the blue dragon spike, but he's got to deal with this armor knight first. And yeah, looks like Cyberdark is happy with Charlock to be the place to grind. We'll see if he burns resources on the way down, or if this will be a for really real dive. If he can get down there with all of his resources and just grind that blue dragon up to 15, he might actually give it a serious go.
You know, our restreamer put an interesting question. So if you put a number as part of your name, does that get blocked out too? And all right, so 121 MP, but the back attack means that Kigalas couldn't really find out any additional information.
That hurts. But that 121 MP is pretty good, and I think Kigalas was also using some spells on the way down.
Now, also of note, so Cyberdark is using a strength agility build. So as opposed to the strength HP build with Kigalas. So over the course of the seed, Cyberdark's agility is going to be a few points higher, I believe 10% higher than Kigalas's. But in contrast, Kigalas's HP is going to be 10% higher than Cyberdark's. So if Cyberdark has a max of 96, it's very likely that Kigalas's max at this point would be around 9 or 10 points higher, so probably around a 105, 106, I believe.
Yeah, so that actually could put Kigalas in a go mode right now. In fact, we see him stocking up on herbs, fairy waters, things like that to just maximize resources on the way down. Kigalas might just be going for it. He, even though he didn't get a chance to swing on that Dragonlord, he has been killing monsters and should have a pretty decent idea based off of, how many swings it was taking to do blue dragons and some of the other things he was fighting. So we might see a serious dive on Kigalas' side as well. Meanwhile, Cyberdark making use of that stop spell to take out Red Dragon. Which again, once you get that off, Red Dragon becomes pretty much a free fight as well. Just a free 255 experience, except for the time it takes to do it.
Okay, 10% minus 3 or something, plus 10% minus 3 or minus 10% plus 3. So it's a little more complex than I'm making it, but we're having enough trouble here with the lack of numbers. I'm not trying to get overly complex with the mathematics of it here.
Complex. So now we're dealing with imaginary numbers, huh?
Well, they must be, because they're not on the screen.
So you're saying Cyberdark has 96 plus 4i hit points.
The way I've been staring at the screen, I think I'm going to need 4 eyes after this.
Head to your local lens crafters. They'll take care of you.
Randomania not sponsored at all by lens crafters.
All right. right, so Cyberdark's made it down, and it does look like he's been conserving resources. I think the only thing I've seen him cast is stop spells on red dragons. And so this might actually be the race, part of the race. You know, the neck and neck. Our two horses heading towards the finish line.
Yeah, and right now about a 2-floor difference, although maybe at this point more like a floor and a half. So these encounters are going to be crucial here. Cyberdark fighting along the way here.
Yeah, I think Cyberdark, you know, when seeing that 96, probably wants that extra level. So that, you know, if he decides to grind some blue dragons, that might do it. Although I do see Kigalas fighting some Axe Knight as well. Maybe just looking for a little buffer.
Another fairy water here. But now there's a time-consuming red dragon on Cyberdark's part. And here comes Kigalas. So they are, of course, right on the stairway and not able to get away.
Ooh, yeah, that's Star Wyvern. And so yeah, Cyberdark making it through the rectangle and has made it to the bottom floor. Whereas Kigalas, I think, was just entered the U, if I know my maps correctly, which I might not.
So there is the level for Cyberdark, and it looked like the hit points were pretty formidable here, so this is looking good, and you can see Cyberdark trying to run away from the red dragon for better or worse.
Yep, and that red dragon's just not having it. But yeah, seeing that hit points plural if you're Cyberdark is excellent. He knew he had 96, so hit points means he's at least 98, which is, you know, enough to get the job done.
But now with all the time taken up trying to get away from or take out this red dragon, all of a sudden Kigalas is just kind of sneaking in here at the end.
Yep, and Kigalas just making the hero walk through the bottom floor. He's all the way to the desert tiles and hasn't seen an encounter yet. Makes me think the agility must be really good, repelling... obviously not repelling red dragons, that's luck, but yeah, really surprised at the length of that walk there.
Oh, and here comes level 15 for Kigalas as a bit of a bonus here. So,
Kigalas may very well have just stolen this this seed from Cyberdark, who keeps running into those red dragons.
Yeah, the resources have been pretty minimal across the way here, and Kigalas just wailing away at the red dragon here. Meanwhile, Cyberdark using another herb. And it's right now the encounters as the Guardian spot, a blue dragon. Kigalas very familiar with these.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good for Kigalas right here. You know, Dragonlord fights pretty much follow the same format and take about the same time, especially if both our runners are the same strength. It could boil down to maybe getting a free double here and there, but otherwise, I think that advantage Kigalas, as Cyberdark still has to manage his way through a few more encounters, as Kigalas is in the home stretch.
So the HP is going to be a little bit more forgiving for Kigalas. Cyberdark's going to have a little bit higher defense. So we'll get through this first part here and then get a little gander.
Yeah, and we're wondering, you know, it could potentially also be like, you know, Kigalas got sent back because he wasn't at full health and got back attacked. So we'll see if he decides to pop a heal more before starting the final round. But we are very, very close. Cyberdark meeting another blue dragon right before Dragonlord 1 as Kigalas herbing up to try to take on Dragonlord 2 with as much HP as possible.
Well, there's the stop spell, and just as Cyberdark gets the offer to share half the world, Kigalas on the second form, another back attack, Gonna stay alive here, and we see 45 for the damage. So 108 at level 15 here.
That is not bad at all.
First attack is for 13. Now up to 25. $34 for Kigalas. Oh, wow, and 17 for Cyberdark. $44 and 30. $54 now for Kigalas. 47 for Cyberdark.
Those high rolls. Excellent.
$65 to 59. $83 to 77, I believe. Oh, and another 18 here. 101 to, oh gosh, 101 to 94. $113 to 112. $125 over on Kigalas' side. $125. It is evened up. $134 on Kigalas' side. $134 on Cyberdark's side. Both getting 9s. $144 for Kigalas. $144 for Cyberdark. $154 for Kigalas. $156. Next strike should do it here. This is going to be close for both. Wait, did I carry a 1 wrong somewhere? What the heck did I miss here?
And Cyberdark takes him down. I have no idea how you're doing that, can't.
At the same time, I thought I had it, but apparently I must have either missed an attack somewhere, or added something twice, or carried a 1 trying to keep track of both at the same time in my head. But that notwithstanding, get out your GGs. Cyberdark going to get the victory here. This is going to be super close.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just maybe 15 seconds apart there. So yeah, great job on both sides.
1:18:14 is the official race time for Cyberdark. 1:18:22, so 8 seconds difference.
Just amazing. Amazing finish to a super interesting race, you know, with that no numbers. I think that was a lot of fun for everybody to watch. And here's our final stats. So they were at 137 attack power. They had 128 magic points. The hit points were a little bit different there, but both, you know, well into that 100. So yeah, very, very well done. And hopefully we can get them in for an interview here in just a moment.
Oh man, that was... I'm going to have to go back and re-look at that and see where my numbers were off. But, well, I mean, our numbers were off for most of the seeds, so that certainly explains it.
Yeah, I mean, if there's no numbers, we can't harm you for not doing well with numbers.
Well, I didn't know that...
I was surprised you were trying to count them both at the same time, actually. So that was, I mean, props to you for that.
I was trying, and I must have missed something along the way here. I thought Kigalas had the... I mean... I thought they were pretty well even, but I must have missed one of Cyberdark's attacks. I think that's where my count was off here. As we have Kigalas joining us here in the booth. Oh man, and Cyberdark as well. Holy smokes! 8 seconds difference. It was down to the wire. After dealing with no numbers for the entire seed, I was trying to add both of your DL2 fights at the same time.
Yeah, Interestingly, Cyberdark, you went into that fight behind Kigalas. I think Kigalas was just starting his DL2 when you were starting your DL1. And so I think it just came to menuing or something. Like it was very, very exciting to watch, especially those last like 3 or 4 minutes of it.
Well, I just had horrible rolls for most of that DL2 fight. I'm hitting 9s and 10s, and all of a sudden, oh wait, I can hit for 18.
And I got mostly 17s at the start. GG.
GG, Cyberdark. You're now the king of the photo finish.
Yeah, that's 2 races. This is not the closest one, surprisingly.
Yeah, that was.
Go ahead.
Just gonna say how that started going really quickly. I gotta say.
And it does look like that Dragonlord had the full 165 hit points as well to contend with. So how did you guys deal with the whole no numbers thing? I think I saw at least one of you did some casting of heal mores to check MP. What was your kind of strategies going into that to figure out like where your strength generally was, your defense, your hit points, your magic, and those other stats?
So I had Archfield's manual up and was just scrolling through enemies, and I knew at one point if I could 2-shot an enemy, I had roughly this attack. I had no clue when I went into the Dragonlord. It's just I hit him for 17. I had over 100 MP. Yep, good enough. And I was the one to cast Heal More, and at that time we had 80 MP, so or roughly 80.
For me, it's basically just playing by feel. I knew I had the strength, like really good strength, when I was 3-shotting the Red Dragons. Being able to do that Droll Magi early and stuff. It's like, yeah, I knew the agility was not great because of all the run fails, and once I hit what was it like 10 or 12 heal mores, I'm like, all right, I have plenty of MP, so just play by feel basically.
Now, speaking of Red Dragons, hurt more and heal more, and no stop spell until level 14. How was y'all's experience with those guys?
Not only them, but the AKs as well.
Yeah, there was a lot of mores in general, a lot of heal more especially. It was just, and I knew from there was that one thing in the Discord a couple weeks ago about, well, if you cast Hurt More on an AK-47 and does heal more, it's impossible for it to get into heal more range after doing 1 Hurt More. So going with that, it's like, okay, you can kind of see where he is in HP.
I was so happy to see Hurt on Blue Dragons, though. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a gift. Use those to gain an extra level on the way down on my last dive.
So you did 2 dives as well?
I think it was 2.
Yeah, you both did 2 dives. Cyberdark, I think you did a little grind on that Blue Dragon before finishing it up to grab your level 14 before kind of checking your stats on Dragonlord. And Kigalas, on your first dive, I think you just went straight to him after the spike. But you unfortunately got back attacked and sent home, so you didn't quite get a chance to see what your hit points were.
Yeah, he got me with the max breath right out of the gate. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you knew that you had the 121 MP, but because the HP at that point after the back attack was 0, you couldn't really gauge whereabouts you were.
Right, that's why I gained that extra level, because I figured HP was low since Reds were killing me with, 2 swings and 1 hurt more, I think it was.
I actually thought on my first dive I was on 13 after that grind. And when I went to the Dragonlord and 14 popped up, I said, oh, okay.
Well, both of you took on very early metal scorpions, which would have shot you up 2 levels. Maybe that's where you lost the count, like right at the start.
No, I didn't know, I guess, at level 3, but I just probably didn't write it down somewhere.
Well, either way, it was definitely a super entertaining race. Are there any more thoughts or comments about the seed before we wrap things up and show off our next week's pairings?
GG Kigalas, it was an amazing race. I can't wait to watch it back. And thank you, Ferran, Velavi, Camion, and Math Girl for all the work.
Yeah, not much else to say about the seed. GG, thanks to the crew.
The lack of numbers gave me a headache, so I'm kind of contributing minimally here, but okay, program should have 0 rematches. So yeah, stick around here as we're going to be revealing the 5th and final Swiss week. Well, I say week, but 2 weeks for this upcoming set of matchups, as it will encompass next week, which is, of course, Labor Day weekend here in North America. So we'll be starting tomorrow and going all the way through, I believe it's Sunday the 12th of September.
I think that sounds about right. This is a no number seed. It's Sunday of September.
Yeah, Sunday the blank of September.
So yeah, I think we are ready to check those out. So make sure there are links in the Discord or in the chat to follow our runners and our restream crew. But here we go. We've got our pairings.
Oh, mercy. All right, so we have our 4v4 Angel FM against Nest Cardinality. That's that. Yeah, I was gonna say, what can you say that can't that hasn't already been said regarding that? That is definitely a potential late bracket stage preview that we might be seeing there on that one. We have Archfield Monk against Aaron 2U2. They're a pair of 2-2 matchups. A 3-1 matchup, Arn Polly against High Spirits. Another 3-1 versus 3-1 matchup, Brian Williams against the Seawolf 1. We have Centroid against the Tesla looking to get on the board here. Commander Leonhardt and Chromatoclism, that's a 1-3 matchup. Cyberdark and Sparkover. Yeah, you won with 8 seconds to spare. Now you get Sparkover. That should be a goodie there.
This is actually fitting. I think Cyberdark searched every single one of the Sparkover bridges here, so that's definitely a good matchup there.
Yeah, I'm trying to go over them somewhat quickly here. Diabetes II and Janice Zeal, that's a 2-2 matchup there. So that's going to be rather, there's going to be a lot on the line there. 3-1 matchup, Zarnax against DK9146. That's another barn burner, that's for sure. Stags 28 against Elmore St. James. We have EMP any amount of money against Up to NG. Up to NG's 2-2. Interesting. I'll just leave it at that. We have Tristal against F. Coughlin. That's another pair of 2-2 matchups. We have Harrison against Asmati Games. Jackamus against Big Slamoo. Okay, that's yeah. We man, this is a very deep field here. Edge Talvaron against JJ Schmidt 77. Another 3-1 matchup. Jake Hoper against Brysolf. A couple of hard luck veterans to this game here, as they are both 1-3 and extremely talented. We have Joyzel against Iako Wacko. They're fighting to get on the board as well. Kigalas and Valevi. Oh, well, look at that. From the commentator booth over to competitive opponents here. We also have Lavkian against Ryguy 3745. And definitely put the 7-second delay on for that post-race interview. I'm going to be looking forward to hopefully mediating that one, although that will probably be a later at night one. Also, Lord of the Synth against Marashu. There are a couple of 1-3s. Monsieur Slime against Ursine. That's another 1-3 matchup as well. Also, we have Nimenva against Apex Corvid. That's a pair of 2-2s. We have Sausage Link 83, one of the other 4-0s here against Smashy. DWR After Dark. I might have to restream that one myself if that's the case here, but I don't think it'll be sanctioned by the powers that be here, as I can feel Cyberdark glaring over to me in the commentary booth from all the way north of the border. We also have Starman against Beta Strep. That's a pair of 2-2s, as are Tilo against Guelph 35. Man, good luck handicapping this one, because these are some wildfire matchups.
Absolutely. We'll be looking forward to seeing that next week and the week after. So be sure to tune into your favorite randomizer channels, Randomania, RPG Limit Break, to check out these matchups all throughout the next couple of weeks as we close out the qualifying rounds before the brackets. So thanks for tuning in today, and y'all have a great evening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yep, thank you so much for tuning in here to Randomania. I don't know if we have a raid target, at least not to my knowledge, although if I stall for enough time here, that information might be brought over to me here, potentially. Looks like we may... Yeah, exactly. So it's stalling for time. Something that I certainly do well. Well, we could go to... Yeah, exactly. We could go to stretch this out here. It looks like we're going to go over to Nest Cardinality, one of the 4-0 matchups that we'll see later in the next couple of weeks here against Angel FM. So definitely stick around for that. He is rather entertaining and even a bit charismatic as well. For all of us here at Randomania, for our restreamer MathGirl718, our tracker Cami Renikai, and my broadcast partner Valevi, I'm Ferran Burgundy saying until next time, stay classy, my friends, and more importantly, stay safe. Good night, everyone.